Hello, welcome. I know I disappeared again. I promise I'm working on stuff for the series. But look at you, you made it to the end of the Speedpaint series. If you don't know, this is the last video of the series where I introduce each of the characters in my project Spectrum and show speedpaints of me drawing their base sprites. Spectrum is a visual novel styled YouTube series I'm working on that depicts the lives of the 10 main characters. The original base concept for Spectrum was looking at characters with specific color themes and seeing what they got in common, what trends do I see, and using those similarities I tried to create a character that reflected them while also still being unique and interesting. While the characters all have their own lives, they all interact with one another and the story is about the chaotic things they get up to. This video is going to be all about Pink, the 10th and final one in the lineup. Pink was a pretty easy color to work with because it's pretty consistent. Pink is a cute color, so the characters with pink themes or pink hair were mostly always the cutesy or little ones. Pink-haired characters are either cute and assigned baby at birth, or they're fun, energetic little guys. Pink was kinda like yellow, where the characters were frequently high in energy. I guess being cute means being bubbly and fun. Pink themes also meant cute outfits, which I love. I'm always looking for excuses to design fun and cute outfits. I've got a few adopts for sale on my Ko-fi, by the way, link in the description. So Pink as a character is a pretty cutesy, funky guy. He's not quite on the innocent side, but I'll get into that more later. His aesthetic is definitely meant to be cute. He wears simple clothes, but it definitely leans into the cute territory. The short sleeve shirt, the overalls shorts with a heart on them, the high socks, he's just a cute little guy. The Pink characters were sometimes the shorter ones, so Pink is the shortest character in the lineup at 5'5", or 165.1 centimeters. It also makes sense he'd be smaller because he's a mannequin. It'd be a little more accurate to call him a ball-jointed doll, but he refers to himself as a mannequin because he's scaled like a normal person. So, hairstyle-wise, Pink-themed characters had some variety, which was nice, though Pink ended up with a pretty normal hairstyle. However, it's very specific. It sweeps to the right on the bottom, and his bangs cover his eyes in specific places. The other thing that you'll see later is the way I shade his hair. It's kind of like how I shaded Orange. Orange's hair had a very specific way of being shaded because his hair is two different colors. Pink's hair is all one color, but I shade it in a way that kind of makes it seem like multiple shades of pink. It's not, but I wanted to stylize it like that to be a different texture from everybody else. He has rooted hair in doll terms, meaning his hair is attached and isn't a wig, but the texture of it is identifiable as not real hair. It feels a little different. It's a simple hairstyle, but it frames his face in a cute way, I think. So, more about his outfit. Pink likes to travel a lot, and he regularly takes trips through the woods. Because of this, I wanted his outfit to reflect that. So he wears short sleeves that don't get in the way of moving around. He wears shorts, so he's not very restricted. They're pretty wide, which isn't exactly practical, but that's more of his style showing through. The colors also aren't really practical, given he spends time in the woods. He wears a lot of light colors, which is easy to get dirty. Surprisingly though, he's never seen with dirty clothes. He wears slip-on shoes that are comfortable to walk around in. They aren't bulky, so they're light, though they might not be the best for walking around forests. And then, of course, he's got a hiking backpack. It's the kind with the strap on the front to make it really secure and easy to wear. The bag has a couple of keychains on it, but you can't see them super well. There's a strawberry cake slice and a pink piece of candy. Pink can't eat as a mannequin, so he judges foods based on how pretty or cute they are. He likes desserts that look nice and colorful candies. He can eat hard candy or gummies if he sucks on them. So even though he's a hiker, he still wants to appear cute. He's got an innocent look about him, which is deceptive on purpose. With that, I'll get into his personality more. He's a fun guy to be around. He's pretty bubbly and energetic. He's friendly and loves to talk to people. He's very social. He's a very antsy guy who's always looking for something to do. He loves to play video games and likes party games or arcade games. Fun games. That's his biggest pastime. He's got a couple handheld consoles he keeps with him to play on. He spends a lot of time on his feet walking around. He's the kind of guy who knows a lot of people, so he sort of hops between people's houses to visit them and spend the night. Pink doesn't live anywhere, and he keeps most of his necessary belongings in his bag. However, he does keep some of his stuff at a friend's house, especially things that are important. He's always on the move and doesn't stay in place for very long. He hikes through the woods to get to different people's houses. He's a little shady with the way he navigates the town and sometimes avoids being seen in public. It's hard to say what exactly is off about him, but he definitely has some things that make him seem untrustworthy. Like that little oh smile is just a little sus. He's low-key on the run. Because he's always on the move, he spends the least amount of time with the other characters. He stops by every now and then, but it's not common for him to be in the area. He just kind of shows up randomly to hang out whenever he happens to be nearby. Because he's the least connected with the group, the others don't really know a whole lot about him. Pink is a very private person and keeps the majority of his personal life to himself, so it's rare for him to actually talk about himself. What is known about him is that he gets around in more ways than one. His quote-unquote social nature tends to go beyond just talking, and he's very friendly with his acquaintances. He is closer to them than friends tend to be, if you know what I mean. He is intentionally designed to be deceptively cute, and he definitely isn't as innocent as he looks. Like, oh, he's just a little guy, but then he carries around lube in his bag. It's a little cursed. But anyway, on to his relationships with other characters. I mentioned he isn't as close to the group, and that definitely shows in who he talks to on a regular. The person he's closest to is Red. He's the one that introduced him to the group. Out of the entire group, Pink was the last one to be introduced. Red ran into Pink during a walk on the beach, and they've been friends ever since. They get along well and enjoy each other's company. Their dynamic is a little questionable because Pink is always flirting with Red. He's very interested in Red and practically begs for his attention. Red thinks Pink's behavior is cute and doesn't mind it, but he also purposefully doesn't reciprocate his advances to keep Pink yearning. He flirts back, but he never agrees to take things any further than that. He finds Pink's attachment to him to be entertaining. Pink is on decent terms with Orange and Yellow, though they aren't super close. They just entertain him. Pink likes to play video games with them at their apartment. They can both tell there's something about Pink that isn't quite what he seems, but they aren't really sure what, so they tend to ignore it for the most part. But they are aware of him being very active with his friends. Pink doesn't talk to him often, but he thinks White is cute and sort of flirts with him sometimes. White doesn't usually get it when he does, so he's not really receptive to it, but he's nice to Pink. As for everybody else, they tolerate him at best. Pretty much everyone else thinks he's at least a little annoying. Green can tell Pink is a little suspicious, so he's wary of him, but he is willing to let him spend time at him and White's house. Violet is fascinated by Pink because of his personality and behavior. He knows Pink is up to something, but he's intrigued by the way he acts. Despite this, he's not fond of Pink and tends to ignore him if he can. Brown has a special disdain for Pink because he's always trying to talk to Brown. He doesn't get why, but Pink just really wants to be his friend. Pink is sorta aware that there's something going on with Brown and his inner demons, and he wants to know what it is. Brown denies everything to get Pink to leave him alone. Pink basically is just a fun little guy towards everybody, except White, who gets special treatment, and Red, who gets extra special treatment. He's nice to everybody no matter how annoying they think he is. So getting into his background, similarly to Red, hardly anything is known about Pink. No one knows where he is from, or where he spends his time and what he does with it. No one knows anything about his origin or how he lived before he met Red. No one knows any of Pink's friends or where they live. Obviously, there are questions to be had given he's literally not a living being, but he dodges all questions regarding himself and his background. Friendships and relationships stay private, so no one knows anything about the people he talks to. Literally nothing is known about the guy, even by Red. It's just one of those things that makes him seem extra suspicious. Ultimately, he's just the kind of guy to keep his personal life personal to him. And it's not all shady, but it definitely raises some eyebrows. And finally, the last character theme in the lineup. Pink's theme is pretty fun and bouncy. I wanted it to reflect Pink's adventurous nature while sprinkling in the innocence that you get from him at first. I like his theme because it also feels like background music for a platforming game. I didn't really do that on purpose, but I like that his theme in particular feels like video game music, given how much he likes them. I think it's fun. The extra instrument in his is once again something I don't know how to identify. It also kind of sounds like a metronome tick, like Violet's, but it sounds more like a percussion instrument, like some random-ass wooden block type of instrument, I don't know. I wanted it to be something that was easy to follow along with. It's music that's good for walking to. So yeah, Pink's a funky guy. He's silly. Here's his full sprite, and of course I'll show a few others. In total, Pink has 25 sprites, which isn't too many, but you wouldn't expect someone who's never around to have a lot of facial expressions. Hope you liked watching and listening. It was a fun ride. If you haven't seen the other videos in the Speedpaint series, I suggest you go watch them so you can learn a bit about the other characters. Thanks for hanging around, I appreciate it. Next thing on my to-do list is to make a video talking about the actual series, that is Spectrum, so if you're curious about what it is I'm working on, stick around. I'll hopefully have that video done relatively soon. Thanks again, and I hope to see you in the near future. Take care, stay safe.